I'm going to recognize myself for 5 minutes. Mr. Swecker, when did you first become aware of the FBI's memo targeting traditional Roman Catholics?
Oh, well, I don't know the exact date, but it was when it hit the press. I mean, as soon as it hit the press, I mean, I found out about it when everybody else did.
Did you get the opportunity to review the memo, that came from the Virginia field office? Did you take a look at it?
I did. I don't remember all the details in it, but it was a very ill-advised memo.
Did it strike you?
Yeah, of course it did.
In a bad way?
I think it would strike anybody in a bad way. I'm Catholic, not that that matters, but just singling out a religion and religious beliefs in the way that they did. I mean, frankly, though, I don't know how much play that really got further up the food chain, but it was it just demonstrated incredibly poor judgment.
We asked the then Attorney General about it. We asked the then FBI Director about it. They both, in essence, apologized, but it said it was only limited to the Virginia field office. And then, fortunately, there were other whistleblowers. We got information. It wasn't only limited. This was starting to go throughout the country. Thank God we found out about it. And as I said before, my good Hindu friends, men of peace, people, human beings of peace, have never would do anything harmful. If it happened to Roman Catholics, and I happen to be Roman Catholic as well, it can happen to anyone.
I think it does reflect that there were some ideologues deep in the it wasn't just the leadership in the bureau.
You can't believe otherwise. I mean, it just didn't make sense. It was shocking for America. Do you believe the memo infringed on Americans' rights under our Constitution to some degree?
Absolutely, especially if they had followed through on it aggressively, like they did other things.
The memo stated, let me read this, I'm quoting now, catalyzing events in which regionally motivated violent extremists and radical traditional Catholics. I'm not sure what the hell that means, to be honest with you.
They were calling them domestic terrorists.
Yeah,
essentially.
I don't know. I try to go to Mass when I can. I honest to God, I don't see I don't see any domestic terrorists there. And they said they might have a common clause including legislation or judicial decisions in areas such as abortion rights, immigration, affirmative action, and LGBTQ protections. Isn't that their right? And is it typical for the FBI to dig into something like that?
Not the FBI I served under. And I think Chris Wray made a lot of mistakes, but he apologized for that one. I think that's one that got away from, should never even...
I think they were even shocked that they had that level of an ideologue, actually. And I believe that they were being sincere. I know the Attorney General at the time almost cried. Maybe he did a little bit, actually. Do you think the FBI needs stricter controls over how these bulletins are created and distributed? Hopefully they will now.
I do. I mean, a lot of it's judgment-based, and it's who you hire and the examples that are set at the top of in this case, the FBI. I mean, you can't, there's no substitute for just good judgment as things. I saw a lot of junk come out of a squad room, reports and that sort of thing, and if you're at the supervisory level, you just cancel it out. You squelch it right there.
Okay. So I'm going to ask the three of you, Mr. Swecker, Mr. Fay, Mr. Breen, some real quick questions. That's something I'll always like to do. I like to get to the point. It's either yes or no, not a long answer on this. And I'll start with you, Mr. Swecker. Do you believe the DOJ was weaponized against political opponents, yes or no?
Yes, I think there's many examples of that.
Mr. Fay? Yes, I do. Mr. Breen?
Yes, absolutely.
Should federal law enforcement agencies surveil parents at school board meetings, yes or no, Mr. Swecker?
No. No.
Was it appropriate for a DOJ official to pressure a defense lawyer with a judgeship offer? Yes or no, Mr. Swecker?
No.
If that happened, no.
And it did.
I've heard information. I just don't know definitively, but yes.
Correct. Outrageous.
Is it acceptable for the FBI to categorize certain religious groups in the way that they did? Yes or no?
No.
No.
Absolutely not.
I think everybody, God help us, agrees on that one. Even my friends on the other side of the aisle here might. Do you believe there is currently, or was currently, that there was a two-tiered system of justice in America, yes or no?
Yes, many examples of that.
There's so many.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, we live
Thank
through
you. I think it makes our point, and I'm almost out of time myself. Ms. Crockett? The ranking member, I'm sorry, Mr. Moskowitz.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate it. Thank you, gentlemen, for coming to today's hearing entitled Entering the Golden Age. Probably named it that because the